What am I giving up to stay here? Is it something that you don't have
Your
to
pros and cons.
exactly?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our channel, Life, Love, and Relationships. My name is Oluwa Kemi. Welcome to this episode of Life, Love, and Relationships. Here again with us today is Mr. Taufik Oyelami. We'll be dwelling on the topic communication in relationships. Mr. Taufik Oyelami, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much for having me once again. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. The word communication, why is it important in relationships? Why is it essential for couples to be able to communicate?
I believe it's important because as humans, we have a need to relate with each other. And one of the, for want of a better way of putting it, one of the tools available to us to relate, to interact, is communication. So I believe to that extent, as the social being that we have a need to communicate. So now, what we now do with our communication is a different, thing entirely. But I believe communication is a need for us as humans because we're social.
Thank you. Communication is a need for us because we're social beings. In relationships, why is it that we don't tend to know how to use communication to our advantage? To the advantage of that relationship. Because sometimes one person is speaking, the other person is not really getting what the person is saying. What are the barriers? What are some of the barriers that inhibit the effectiveness of communication?
Well, all this is they boil down to the individual experiences. I believe that talking about barriers, we're going to be looking at issues of patience. Effective communication require patience. Also, being on top of your emotion. Those are the things that come to my mind immediately because I believe that those two things, as humans generally, if we're able to conquer ourselves, so to speak,
Conquer ourselves.
so to speak, will go a long way in communicating better. So when you bring it to a relationship, if we want to communicate, if we are able to be patient with each other, it helps a great deal to enhance our understanding, which is what we most of the time seek from communication. Because the reason we communicate is so that we can understand each other. But understanding becomes difficult if we're not patient enough to get our point across, or we're not patient enough to receive what the other person is telling us. So patience comes in. Now, what gets in the way of patience a lot of time, not all the time, is emotion. All this put together creates a need for us to conquer ourselves. So once you conquer yourself, you're already on the way to better communication with your partner, who you seek understanding from.
And who you seek to understand.
Exactly.
I would like you to expatiate a bit on two essential words that you used, conquering yourself, right? Because if you don't conquer yourself, just to speak to, the word you use, emotions, when you allow your emotions to, it just shows that you've not been able to conquer yourself. Could you please expatiate more on conquering yourself and then, having a hold on your emotions as it relates to communication?
Yeah, a lot of time you find that emotions generally, they I don't want to use the word pollute the atmosphere because that will suggest negative emotion, but there's also positive emotion.
Absolutely.
So however you look at it, emotion color our communication. So the question now is this: do you want to color your communication brightly, or you want to dull the color of your communication? So what do I mean by that? If you have a need to explain something to your partner and you want your partner to understand you, right? A lot of time, you also need to understand your partner. First of all, understand where we are coming from. Now, in order to be able to do that, you need to conquer your emotion, be it joy, be it anger,
Disappointment,
whatever it
you
is.
feel. Yeah.
First of all, master that because you need that. You need to be able to get a hold on that before you can truly understand them. When you now truly understand them, it's a lot easier for you to also get them to understand you. Right.
Yeah.
So half the work is on yourself. Right. So that's why I use the word conquer yourself. Conquer your emotion, because emotion will color whatever you want to say. And you want to be received as much as possible with the intent behind what you are saying.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
what I believe I meant by conquering yourself as far as emotion is concerned.
Yeah. Because those are really powerful things. Because if you're coming from a place of just how you feel and not understanding the position of your partner or why they are saying things the way they are saying it, then you won't be able to effectively use the tool of communication to pass across whatever it is that you feel. Wow,
Yeah.
that's really powerful. Those words really resonate, and they resonate in a very deep way. Conquering yourself, having a hold on your emotions, because the truth is emotions would always fly here and there sometimes. However, how even when you've conquered yourself, there are some communications that are very uncomfortable and they are very sensitive. How can couples how can they navigate such sensitive and uncomfortable conversations? You know, you have something you want to say to your partner, you're already aware that you have a need because this thing has to be talked about, but you know that it's something that may not necessarily make your partner be comfortable. How do you navigate such communication? Because they're necessary.
Understanding. Understanding in that you have to find a way to make your delivery in such a way that your partner will understand where you're coming from, which most of the time is from a place of love. Right. So the onus is on you to now, as sensitive as this matter is, as important as this matter is, how do I make my delivery in order to achieve what I have in mind? And the other person will not take away what I do not intend. So focus on seeking understanding. How do I say this? Of course, you will have understood your partner to the extent that you know how, when, and where to bring up what subject. So I believe the focus should be on understanding in that situation. Again, patience will have to come in. As much as you may want to say this at this time, you have to exercise some patience for the other factors to be right, so that the meaning, so to speak, now your meaning is not lost in the delivery.
Yeah.
So seek understanding as much as possible when it comes to almost in every communication, right? Especially when it's now a sensitive matter, so that the person will know, no matter how sensitive it is, the person will know where you're coming from and they appreciate it. That makes things a lot easier.
Yeah. Does respect come in the mix?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Respect is
because
very important.
as we were speaking earlier, when you said understanding, it just dawned on me that if you always take communication from a place of respect, it helps you to be in control of how how potentially that conversation may make that person feel.
How far can love take you without mutual respect? Let's be honest here.
Mm,
So, yeah, there is love. If there is
mutual
no
respect.
mutual respect, you won't go far. So, but if there is mutual respect, it makes understanding easier. Because if there is no mutual respect, it's difficult for me to understand you, talk less of showing it. Because I will
Say that
always,
again.
if there is no mutual respect, it's already difficult for me to understand you. Then for me to now show that I understand you, respect has a big role to play.
Yeah,
Those are foundational things in relationship. Anyway, like I said, how far can love take you without respect?
yeah.
And respect in this regard is mutual. I mean, must be mutual. To that extent, I don't think you achieve much.
How would you define respect?
Um,
Respect is what?
okay, first off, I am not a professor. I'm not an expert on this thing. So asking me to asking me to define is taking me above my pay grade. However, what do I understand? What is my own understanding of respect? At the heart of that, we do unto others as you want them to do to you. So, what do I mean by that? What I'm demanding, can I give it? Because
Mm,
even if the person that you are demanding it from is giving it, two things are likely to happen. They might be doing it out of convenience for them. And whether you give it back or not, really would not matter.
That's who they are.
But that's who they are. But over time, if it's something they are doing, that they are giving as a sacrifice, it better be mutual. Because if not, you are going to drain that tank.
You're going to drain that tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now, I've said that. There is now the place of culture. Every culture have their own peculiarities as it relates to respect. We must also give a thought to that. So, what are the cultural expectations as far as respect is concerned in this our relationship? We must know this. We must be open about communicating about this. So, we shouldn't be shy about. So, communication comes into this now. Can you imagine? We're talking about how respect affects communication. Now we're talking about communication.
Culture, yeah.
Because we know them. We're open about them. So we already know what are the potential expectations from me as far as from me or towards me as far as respect is concerned. And so that there is clarity, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Remember, relationships get better if we don't stop learning each other. So
Yeah.
there must be continuous learning. Yes. In the process of continuous learning, we get better at all these things we're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've been able to answer you.
You've answered me. I like so many things that you said while you were speaking. We need to continue to learn each other. We need to continue to understand and honor who that person is, how that person wants to be respected. Whether you believe it or not, this is how he or she wants to be respected. Honor that and take that as the platform to relate with them. Right? It's very important. So even after employing all these tools, conquering yourself, having a hold on your emotions, understanding the person, respecting the person and all of that, it is still possible for a partner to feel unheard and unseen in a relationship. How can such a partner deal with that feeling or communicate that?
Yes, if you conquered yourself, there is mutual respect, there is constant seeking of understanding and being understood and all. I don't think will it not be counterintuitive that somebody will still be unseen and unheard? I doubt it.
Unfortunately, sometimes it can be one way. It can be one partner that is just doing all of this,
Okay.
and the other partner is not.
So the question now is, if you think you are doing all this and you're not getting it back,
Yeah.
right? That one is a difficult question to answer, because it's also a function of at what stage is your relationship. Let's now break it down. In the first place, how do you get into, for example, let's use marriage, because marriage is not something you jump into. Well, ideally, it's not something that you just jump into. So that will have been that learning phase. So is that learning phase you discover this, or after you got married? Okay, no. So if it's at the learning phase, it means there's still more work to be done, especially if there is genuine love. And if there is genuine love, so maybe it's just that the other person, the person that you expect so much more from, doesn't know how to do this and all that. You still have to communicate. You still have to communicate, because that is the phase. Because there is genuine love, it makes it. I won't say it makes it easy, no, but it makes it. Wow, how do I describe this now?
It actually makes it easier when there's genuine love.
But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, because if you have not been seen, been understood, and all that, you see, emotion is just one step away, which now pollutes the love. No, I don't want to say that. But if there is genuine love, it gives a compelling reason to want to, seek for things to be better.
Yeah.
And in that process, you might discover that, look, this is just the way this person is. So, can I live with this? That's at the learning phase.
Yeah.
That's at the learning phase. But if you already have a marriage, you have to pray to God first and foremost, because it means you have entered into a thing without having a good understanding.
Yeah.
But it's not a total, what do you call it? It's not a total disaster. Because, like I said,
so it can be rectified, you think?
Well, it can be worked on. It can be worked on. I must say it can be rectified. I cannot authoritatively say that. But if there is genuine love, it's just that your partner does not know how to just deal with the things the way you want. Counseling that, I mean, and you're already in that boat. You can't come out so easily, right? That's the place of counseling. You go to someone that the two of you can accept that this person knows better and this person can help. So you seek help. I don't know if that's
Yes,
helped with
you've
everything.
answered my question, and you've also led me to my next question. That at what point should couples seek counseling?
Once you see that communication is not helping, and it's not helping, not because there is no love, it's just that understanding is failing despite so much work that you think you are putting in. It helps if you have set the foundation to be that whatever it is, let's talk about it. So I'm assuming that you have reached that stage, and so the fact, if you have reached that stage, the fact that you keep coming back and saying this is my what I'm taking away from this is what I'm getting from this, you keep talking about it, and there is genuine love, and there is mutual respect. Well, you already said this, you're not getting it back, so it's not mutual. But if there is genuine love, hopefully that should help nudge the other person into taking a step back and, okay, what is going on here? But if all that fails, you have to seek help from external parties who can help. A lot of time people will say, we think of their parents, their religious leaders and all that, but I would rather talk about, just talk about all the options you have. Make it clear that this is not working for me, and the reason it's not working for me is this, is that. And I believe that it's not as if you are going out deliberately to hurt me. It's just that perhaps we need to,
You've not been able to
you've not been able to,
understand.
let's do this. I think we should, the next step will be to explore that angle.
Yeah. What should a partner do if the other partner is not willing to seek counsel? Is not willing to seek help? Because I'm like you said, when you get to that point, it's the most obvious thing you do. Because for the other partner who is feeling unseen and unheard, there's only just so much that they can take. At some point, they break.
I don't think we have to get to the breaking point. The reason I said that is, for the thing to affect you so much, it means you either you are willing to invest more in the relationship, or you have already invested more in the relationship. So in that situation, you may explore safety nets. What do I mean by safety nets? Sometimes that we keep everything between us does not help relationships. There must be people that you both mutually respect, that you can go to and say, please come and help here because of so reason. I think before you break, explore that angle as well. The party that is not feeling heard, that feels that something can be done to improve things, but the partner is not cooperating, go to a person that the two of you respect, who could use the benefits of their own life experience, the benefit, whatever it is that you respect them about, that will be useful in that situation. Also explore that angle before you give up. Because sometimes, genuinely, the other person
May not even know.
may not even know.
Yeah.
So, but if it's coming from somebody they respect, it gets more weight with them, and probably you'll be able to go further.
I have like a two-in-one question. Earlier, you spoke about you don't like. I mean, it's not everything that people should keep to themselves. Sometimes they need to speak to someone. Could you clarify? Because I think that also the beauty of relationship is in your togetherness that is not necessarily open to people. How do you draw the line between having your privacy as a couple and knowing when to seek for help, knowing when to take matters to people to help you?
When you have done everything that you believe can be done, and you are still failing, and you know that you are getting to the breaking point, that is when you may need to seek the intervention of a trusted, mutually respected person or people to intervene. The emphasis on they are trusted, and
You both
you
trust them.
both trust them, and that they have
Interest.
your interest at heart,
Best
that the
interest.
best interest they have it, and you mutually respect them.
Yeah.
So that's the point, because for you have reached that point where you are being honest with yourself, not that you are angry and you are telling yourself I've had enough. No, you have reached that point where you know that if things don't improve, I've had enough. Before you get to
So
that
it's like
point,
a
just
last
before,
resort.
exactly,
Yeah.
that's when you you involve such people.
I'll still go back to this question because it's a reality. You have situations where one partner is just being difficult. They don't want to seek counsel, regardless of how much they respect this person that you've put on the table that you both should see to help you through this matter. Do you think a partner has the option to opt out if after trying everything, including seeking counsel, and a partner and the other partner says he or she doesn't want to go and talk about their issues with other people?
Well, it's a function of how unhappy is the thing that is the, what do you call this now? Your pain point makes you get. If it gets to the point where you are unhappy, so why would you stay where you are unhappy?
But you know, it is much more difficult when you're married to the person.
And that's why you will have explored all avenues to make things better. But if you now fail, then you ask yourself, okay, so if this continues, can I live with it? So it means, what am I giving up to stay here? Is it something that you don't have
Your
to?
pros and cons.
Exactly. So you weigh your options.
Can you really give it up?
Can I really give this up to stay here for so whatever reason? That is a genuine introspection you have to do. It's not a decision that you come to lightly. No, you shouldn't. That's the kind of thing that you have to think deeply. You also have to remember all the things, so it helps not to forget where they have got it right, where they're getting it right. Within yourself.
Yeah. Because there must be some good.
Exactly. So they will not have been so important to you if they're in some good. So you do genuine, honest introspection.
Introspection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's after you have tried everything that you know.
Wow.
But never stop communicating.
This is very insightful. Very, very insightful. Introspection. There's some good that your partner has done. So this singular issue, is it worth you leaving everything for
Correct.
when you get to that point? And that's why respect is so important right from the beginning. When we started this conversation, you mentioned something, conquering yourself, getting a hold of on your emotions, communicating from a place of respect. So really understanding one another is very, very important. So it's not something that you just get to the point. It's something you both should have done from the very beginning. Really insightful.
You should have started from the beginning,
Yeah.
and you should now make it a way of life. So you have to be intentional about it, and it's constant effort. Is, as far as I'm concerned, it's a perpetual work in progress.
Perpetual work in progress. Yeah. I like that word. Thank you. It's been a beautiful time learning and just discussing these things. Thank you for always making out the time. I would really love for you to, I know you're a man of many paths. I would love for you to, just give us an insight into what you do.
Anyway, simply put, I'm a trader. I sell I sell gas. So that's what I do primarily. I used to sell petrol, but I sell more of gas now. That is where the country is tilting towards. So I do that. But somebody will call me a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, you're a serial
But,
entrepreneur because I know you do many
but
things.
serial entrepreneurship also involves or entails some failures. So, but glory to the glory of God, we seem to get some right, many not right, and we're keeping at it, and we still enjoy doing it. So I'm an entrepreneur. I sell gas. We're constantly exploring what else we can do, because Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, I believe strongly in Nigeria. Nigeria, there are too many fertile grounds in Nigeria waiting to be explored. So I'm a firm believer in that, and that's what I do.
Yeah. I know your background in finance also sparks your interest and your ability to move around different trades and do so well in them. I would also like you to give us just a sneak peek into how you've been able to manage several interests and still keep your marriage. Because sometimes, a partner can say, mélòó gan ló fẹ́ ṣe, that kind of thing. How have you been able to, to put that together?
Okay. First and foremost, right before I married my wife, my wife met me when I was pursuing a career in finance. But even before I started pursuing a career in finance, I knew what I wanted to do in life. I was very clear. So I told my wife that, okay, even though this is what I'm doing now, there's going to be a time that I'm going to move into this phase, and you know how what the challenges might be and all that. So we were clear what we were doing from the beginning. So I've always carried that along. I've always been open about it, and so that helped. That's been helping. Then you also should have discipline, because family life is family life,
Yeah.
career, business, and all that.
Operate, yeah.
So there are things that you must forever be involved in. Do not let one affect the other. If you can do that, it's going to be the journey is going to be more pleasurable. Because otherwise, it might be tough.
Thank you. We've definitely learned a lot from you, and thank you for spending time with us today.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Great. Thank you. That's it, guys. Today on the episode of Life, Love, and Relationships. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please go ahead and click the subscribe button right now. See you in the next episode.